In relationships involving someone with an avoidant attachment style, it's not uncommon to wonder if they change for the new person. That answer actually depends on several factors, but it's important to clarify that attachment styles, particularly avoidant attachment styles, don't typically change overnight. However, certain dynamics in a new relationship could lead an avoidant person to appear differently or adapt their behavior temporarily. And this is probably what they did with you. In the beginning of the relationship, they had an appetite for a relationship. But once they realized that it wasn't perfect, they started the flaw finding stage. So if you see them happy and frolicking with the new person, I'm going to give you 5 facts about that dynamic to answer the question if they actually changed for the new person. Before I get into the content, a little bit of a disclaimer. This content isn't intended to give anyone false hope or to convince someone to stay in a dynamic that is unhealthy. If you're in a relationship where you feel your mental and physical health is being jeopardized, I seriously suggest that you think about whether this is the right relationship for you. What's going on, my beautiful people? This is Certified Life and Relationship Coach, Coach Court. If this is your first time viewing my channel, I've been helping people navigate relationships for over the past 18 years. If you want my help personally, the quickest way to get into contact with me is through my website at www.fruitfulseeds.com. In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 facts about your avoidant ex's new relationship and determine whether or not they actually change for that new person. The first fact is they are most likely in the idealization stage of their relationship. In all new relationships, the early stage is called the honeymoon stage. And during that stage, someone with an avoidant attachment style might go through a phase of idealization, which means that they are putting a relationship on a pedestal and everything is still perfect. I talk often about how they have an appetite for a relationship and their companionship belly is actually rumbling. They might behave in ways that seem more open, responsive, and engaged, especially if they are attracted to the person or feel a strong initial connection. They may even make more of an effort to be emotionally available and supportive, which can appear as if they've actually changed. In reality though, this is often driven by the excitement of the new relationship or the desire to be accepted, rather than a true lasting change in their attachment style. Over time, the new relationship settles in a routine. The avoidant person attachment tendencies start to resurface, such as distancing, withdrawing, or being uncomfortable with emotional intimacy. AKA their companionship belly becomes full and they won't need as much companionship, or something happens in that relationship that makes them lose their appetite altogether. Fact number 2 is they will still fear being vulnerable. Avoidant individuals often have a fear of vulnerability and a tendency to keep emotional distance in relationships. If they genuinely care about someone though, they may try to suppress their tendencies out of fear of losing the person or being rejected. And this will be unsustainable long term if they don't feel safe or secure enough to open up emotionally. And I believe that there's a good degree of masking that happens during that honeymoon stage, during the beginning, when they still view you as perfect. But once that mask comes off and they start having more grievances, which all relationships do, we all have that power struggle stage that we get to when we're in a relationship. I don't care what the attachment style. This is when your ex's new relationship will start to fall apart. Which leads me to number 3. There will without a doubt be triggers in the new relationship. For example, if the new person is emotionally expressive, they're nurturing or persistent with seeking some type of emotional intimacy, then the person that has the avoidant attachment style, which is your ex, will be very uncomfortable and maybe even more anxious about that relationship. And guess what happens over time? This will lead them to either withdraw or start distancing themselves, which will prove that they haven't actually changed. They were just masking, like I talked about before. The fourth fact is the avoidant ex of yours is most likely making adjustments to their behavior. I'm gonna give you an example, right? I was working with a client, and in the beginning of the relationship, this person that was an avoidant attacher seemed more anxious than anything else. They didn't seem like a secure person for sure, and they definitely didn't seem avoidant. So because that person who had the avoidant attachment style was really hungry for that relationship, they made behavioral adjustments because they actually know what it is that you need. It's just that they can't sustain those things long term. It's almost like he had an expiration date for when that perfect partner would disappear. And my client felt duped, she felt betrayed, she felt Like this person that she's in a relationship with now is totally different than the person that she met. And this last one, which is the most important one in my opinion, is they most likely won't become self-aware overnight. I got my certification in emotional intelligence, and when I signed up for the course, like most people, I wasn't aware that there's a big difference between IQ and EQ. IQ is, you're just really intelligent. You have great book smarts. Emotional intelligence is you're more connected to. I graduated with a sociology degree, and we talked a lot about this. You're aware of other people's energy and how what you do affects another person. So when you're in a relationship with someone and you have low EQ, then it's going to make it really difficult for you to be able to have a healthy, thriving relationship, because most likely you'll come off as very self-centered and not really aware of what the other person is experiencing. They're more of the managers. They're really good at conflict resolution. They can really get down to the core of what's happening in some of these disagreements that their employees are having. So when you're in a relationship with an avoidant, they may become more self-aware of their attachment style and go through therapy or personal growth. This is a big maybe. They may even become more open and vulnerable. And in these cases, their behavior might shift over time, but this kind of change is usually gradual and requires a lot of effort. It takes a lot of transformation from their end in order for that to happen. So can someone who has an avoidant attachment style, up their emotional intelligence? Absolutely. But it takes a lot of self-awareness, rewiring what happened to them in the past, seeing this relationship as something that they truly want to stay in, and they have to buy into the changes that they want to make for themselves. I see age playing a major factor in this too. If they're younger, they may have the mentality of, I'm young, maybe this person is not right for me, I can find someone else. There's plenty of fish in the sea, right? And if they're older, they may have the belief that if we have to go to therapy or counseling, then this person just isn't right for me. I'm not going to therapy. You're just not the right person for me. So self-awareness is less likely to happen purely as a response to a new relationship, but more as a part of the individual's own development. In conclusion, will they change for the new person? It's a coin flip. The odds, though, is very slim, especially if they jump out of a relationship with you and get into that new relationship right away, because they haven't had the time to do some self-reflecting. They haven't had the time to truly understand what makes them click and how they're wired. So they're just going to take that baggage. Wayne Dyer talked about this. We bring a lot of garbage into new relationships. Instead of getting rid of all those bad feelings and bad emotions that we had in that previous relationship, we throw it all into one big trash bag, throw it over our shoulder, get into the new relationship, and just dump it out in the middle of the relationship. It doesn't happen right away usually, but eventually it will. So if you found this video of any value, please like, comment, and share. You can reach out to me in my other social media accounts. Instagram is I am Coach Court. TikTok is I.am.CoachCourt. Here on YouTube is Coach Court, and Facebook is Coach Court. Thank you guys, and always remember, when you go be loved, you'll never have to find it. Namaste.